Hey guys, I'm Woot. Welcome to the channel. If you've been watching my channel before, you know that I mostly do sculpting and my goal is to create an indie short animation. When you're an indie creator, knowing a little about a lot of things is really helpful. I know virtually nothing about hard surface modeling, so when I came across Blender Brothers' free hard surface modeling jumpstart course, I was totally in. Now, for those of you that are wondering from the thumbnail, was it worth it? The answer is absolutely yes. But there's a but. If you want to know what it is, hang around for this review and we can watch as I attempt to apply what I learned modeling some vambraces. First, course stats. The target audience for this course is clearly beginners. It even covers downloading and installing Blender in the first lesson. Now, overall, it's about 5 hours of content, so that's clearly long enough to get an excellent education in hard surface modeling. You're going to install Blender, configure tons of Blender settings, install a bunch of add-ons, have great videos covering hard surface modeling, texturing, and rendering. Now, the best stat of all, of course, is the cost. It's free. Before taking this course, I really wasn't sure even how to approach hard surface modeling. Now, after taking the course, I really feel like I could probably tackle any hard surface modeling project that I have on my radar. So I'm really pleased with what I learned. When I consider rating this course, I definitely would give it 5 stars for sure. Now, I took this course because I don't know a lot about hard surface modeling and I wanted to learn. I have this piece that I'm working on, this piece of art that I'm working on, and there's some aspects of it where there's armor involved, and hard surface modeling would be extremely beneficial to know how to do that. The instructor, Ryu is his name, he's very good and he clearly explains what he's doing and why he's doing it. One of the things I love about this course is I've taken courses where they tell you press X, press S, then X, dot 2, enter. And so they go through, and so in the end, everybody has a piece looking exactly the same. And that, I guess, can have its place in some areas, but I like that in this course, they don't do that. They give you the flexibility to kind of create what you're creating. And so in the end, not everybody's going to have the same exact looking model, but they give you the skills and the information you need to create what they're creating, to follow along. So you end up with something that you feel like you made. So it's nice that they leave a lot of the decisions up to you. But that's saying that, understand though, that when it's really important for you to be precise, Ryu explains what you need to watch out for, what you need to avoid. So you're left understanding what decisions you should make and when you should make them, and what decisions you should avoid and the reasons you should avoid it. So really I really liked that about this course. Now, one of the things about the course is it covers texturing as well. Now, I would say it's a fairly basic texturing course, but again, this is a free course, right? So you can't be too picky about that. I say it's fairly basic because there's no UV unwrapping. It's just, a principled BSD shader with a few modifications, but you end up with a really nice render at the end. So the texturing is really good from that standpoint. Now, the course, I think, is designed to whet your appetite for the paid Blender Bros Hard Surface Academy 2.0 course. So you got to keep in mind that they're not going to tell you everything, right? They want you to upgrade and get their additional course. But I will say, I do think they have a video on their YouTube channel where they actually unwrap or UV unwrap the model that they create in this Jumpstart course. So they do a really nice job of providing the information you need to create, a really nice render, a nice final product. But that takes us into rendering, right? They do cover rendering in this course. Rendering is a little more detailed than texturing, and I really enjoyed it. But one thing is, half the rendering is done in Photoshop, which I don't have. So I could only watch as they were going through that portion of the course. For me, Blender and art in general, these are just hobbies. This isn't my career, and I don't really plan on making it my career. So I mostly try to stick to free tools, and I think that is a lot of people in the Blender community, that they're like me, where this is a hobby. Probably more of them are trying to think about leveraging it into a career later on. But as a hobby, when exploring a Blender course, I think it's a good idea to stay away from paid resources. So in my opinion, the Photoshop portion of the course probably could have been reserved for their academy courses, but the information is still very beneficial. So if you do have access to Photoshop, you can use it, and it really punches up the render. So it was really cool to see the benefits that were there. There are a couple of things with this course that I wasn't a fan of. So that I talked about at the beginning, this is it. In the beginning of the course, they walk you through customizing the Blender UI quite a bit. The render settings, the compositor settings, a lot of the default colors. And the instructor kind of configures it in a way that he likes his Blender configured. And whereas there's nothing wrong with this at all, it could make it difficult for new Blender users to watch other tutorials and take other tutorials because their Blender instance is now so heavily configured. So it's just a caveat if you take this course, something to be aware of, that there is a lot of configuration. So in the configuration they do does change my sculpting workflow. So it's something that I have to be aware of, so there are certain things that when I'm doing hard surface modeling now that I turn on, and when I'm not doing hard surface modeling, I turn off. Rayu also has you install some add-ons, which I'm all for in most cases. He uses a few that change some of the Blender's hotkeys. And since add-ons can drastically speed up your workflow, they're great for beginners. Because, if you're a beginner, you're always going to be looking for ways to speed up your workflow. And so don't be shy about trying add-ons. What I would mention about this course, though, is the add-ons that change your Blender hotkeys. That could make it difficult for beginners to go to other courses and follow those courses. So if you're gonna take this course, it's excellent, but I would probably recommend not taking this course as a complete beginner. Take something like Blender Guru's donut tutorial. The reason I suggest that is because that'll get you familiar with a vanilla Blender state, and then you go from that vanilla Blender understanding to this course. You'll understand what hotkeys were changed, how they were changed, and you'll understand how to change them back if you so desire. It's just a suggestion, but yeah, something that you might want to keep in mind. One other thing that I'm not a huge fan of is how Rayu interacts with the students in the comments. His comments aren't always supportive or encouraging. As an example, their documentation provides a link to download some add-ons that they recommend. One of those add-ons is Machine Tools. Now, the link that they provide in their documentation is to the Blender Market, and on the Blender Market, Machine Tools costs 99 cents. But if you go to Machine Tools Gumroad, you can get it for free. So when one student asks about it, I didn't feel like the instructor's response was super nice. He told the student basically, if you can't find it, I'm going to delete your account. So for me, when your documentation shows the paid link and then you criticize the student for, not realizing that he could Google it and find the free add-on. Yeah, I just, as a suggestion, I would recommend they not do that. You want to create a positive environment for the students so that they feel comfortable asking questions. Now, but as it goes, my final thoughts on this course, it is a great course. I do recommend it. I would say if you're a complete beginner, take Blender Guru's donut tutorial first to get familiar with vanilla Blender. But then when you want to up your hard surface modeling game, absolutely come and take this course. It serves two purposes, right? This approach serves two purposes. One, the Blender Guru course gets you familiar with the most common Blender hotkeys. And then two, you'll better understand how these add-ons in this course benefit you, how they speed up your workflow, and this will really help you as a 3D creator. So thanks so much for watching this video. I hope it helps you in your Blender journey, and have a great day.